Hello there, and welcome back to Fletcher House Garden. I am enjoying an unexpected 3-day weekend. Decided to take a Monday off after a busy season at work. And wouldn't you know, it's breezy here in Southwest Tennessee because a storm is rolling in. So part of my R&R time will be a little bit soggy. So I thought it best to get outside before the storm came in and get some work done in the garden. Now, it's not going to be a dramatic before and after, nothing like that to show you, just progress, because that's how it really happens here at Fletcher House Garden. Baby steps, just a small act of progress here and there. And I'm noticing some wonderful things happening in the garden. Not my messed up blinds in the window, not the weeds in my flower beds, but for example, the amount of iris buds that I have this year in the front beds, probably the best I've seen. I'm drinking my coffee, taking it all in, and speaking of, why don't you join me and share your garden mug shots? You can post them in the YouTube community tab or even tag me on Instagram. But back to the garden. There's some work to be done, and I thought we would start over here in the big south bed. I recently visited one of my favorite local nurseries, and they had a huge display of David Austin roses. If you are not familiar with David Austin roses, you should check them out, Google search. But I finally bit the bullet and I bought my first David Austin rose. As you can see here, this is Princess Alexandra of Kent. This is a large shrub, could get 5 to 6 feet tall, about 4 feet wide. Gorgeous pink blooms and that classic tea fragrance that I love. So the goal here is to plant this in the big south bed to help camouflage some of the electrical components that we have against the house. And I think long term definitely will be a great solution, as well as offering some beautiful flowers and fragrance over here on the south side of the house. I must say the breeze this weekend is definitely making the outdoor work a little more enjoyable. I'm breaking a sweat, but not like a summer sweat, if you will. And while I'm out planting some of my new purchases for the garden, I am going to place these Osmanthus or false sweet olives over in the bed by our driveway. Like I said, false sweet olives or Osmanthus. I know these leaves look like little teeny tiny holly leaves, but not a holly bush. They actually make small white flowers around autumn or winter, and again, great fragrance. These will also get about 5 feet tall, about 4 feet wide. I'm going to use 3 of them here as a hedge. I wanted to share my little trick. Whenever I have more than one plant and I'm trying to put them in a row, I always plant the outer plants first. That way, if I need to have a little wiggle room, maybe I mismeasured or misplaced the pots, I have a little grace. I can kind of tweak that middle planter or middle plant placement. So I'm watering these in really well. You may see some circles around the drip line. I went ahead and I fertilized these with organic fertilizer just to get them off to a good start. Watering them in will help get that fertilizer into the soil, and then once our storms hit, definitely will help as well. Now, if you're not familiar with Osmanthus, they are not fast growers. They do take some time, but even with that, I think they'll be great here against our fence. This is on the northeast side of the house. While we are over here on this side of the house, it is time to say farewell to the last of the Jumbo Beauty tulips. I have shown off these tulips on several occasions here on the YouTube channel and on Instagram because they have been such stellar performers for weeks. But the last ones are here. You can see the petals are falling to the ground. They are truly fading out, and it's time to replace them. Soon the alliums that I have in here in this bed will start to shoot up and they will bloom, and I will need a plant in front of them to help hide the allium foliage. If you're not familiar with alliums or ornamental onions, the foliage at the base of those plants do turn yellow as they bloom. Just a common thing for them. So I'm going to need something tall in front of them to help camouflage that. And my plan is to take out these tulips and put in salvia. Tulips here in the south, they're not perennials. We treat them like annuals. So you can see my basket here to the side. I do go ahead and toss them just so the bulbs don't get moldy. And so now what I'm going to have here is I'm alternating a salvia plant and then daylilies. Daylilies are already here in this bed. They're happy returns, reblooming yellow daylilies. And then I will have these apex blue salvias. Be a nice like blue, purple, almost like a violet color on these plants. I think they'll look great with those yellow happy returns daylilies. You may notice I am mulching around all of these plants, just trying to get them ready for that storm that I keep talking about that's coming in. If I leave any dirt exposed whatsoever, the weeds will come, especially with that spring rain. So just taking a little extra precaution there. As you may recall, I found that our lovebirds in the bird bath a couple weeks ago, one of them had busted because of our last cold snap. I finally found a replacement for those birds. And while I was over here in the sanctuary bed, mulching, like I said, getting ready for the storm that's coming in, I went ahead and updated our birds in the bird bath as well. So noted future self, I'll make sure that we remove those when the weather gets cold. I think at this point it is time for us to retire, go inside as the rain starts to come to Tennessee. I have some plans. I have a date with a schnauzer. His name is Oliver. We're going to watch some TV, maybe some movies, and enjoy the rest of this 3-day weekend. I realize we've had quite a bit of garden content here lately. And as our name says, we are Fletcher House and Garden. But just because there are things happening in the garden doesn't mean there aren't also things happening inside the house. For example, I just bought some fabric. I'm going to try my hand at making curtains for our kitchen. So I hope you'll come back and see us soon as I share all of these projects with you. But until then, take care.